manam Ruchiputram Patraswarupam Rupam Tasya Gajavuri Puri Maturam Pushura Radhashkundam Girivaram Ahoradika Vaduvasam Bhatto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Guru Tam Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadaya Ishtaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namo Ananda Leelamaya Vigrahaya Prema Bhagavatschavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Chaitanya Chandraya Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava, Hey Saketi, Govinda Shama Sundar Shikanda Shekhar Smaraha Smurli Marada Radhika Sukumama Kripanidhi Supriya Charana King Kurim Kuru Tavai Vasmi Najivami Tayavana Iti Vikyaya Devi Tam Namam Charantikam. First of all, I have my Sastang Dandavat Puspanjali, my heart like flowers thousands and thousands of times to the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev, Asmadeva Paramuradatam Guru Pada Padma, Nitilila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada, Ishtota Rasata Sri Rupa Nuga Acharya Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev, to Srila Prabhupada, and to all of us, Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And finally, I offer my pranam to all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, Bhumipati Prabhu, all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, and all my dear brothers and god sisters. My pranam, Vanchapalpatirosa, Upasan the Vivata, Putinum Pavni, Vaishnavi Bivan Born. By the closest mercy of Sri Guranga Gauranga, today we are honoring the divine disappearance day of Sri Ramananda Rai. Sri Ramananda Rai ki Jai! See, Krishna, before he appears in this world, he makes the seniors appear in this world, like Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Maya, and others. So in the same way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he makes his senior Vaishnavas appear in this world before he comes. Madhavendra Puripad, Srila Ishvara Puripad, Sri Advaita Acharya, and very prominent among the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the village of Bentapur, about 20 kilometers outside Jagannath Puri, very close to the village of Brahmagiri, where there is the famous temple of Alanath, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to go during the Navayovanam. After the Snan Yatra of Lord Jagannath, the bathing ceremony in public, then Lord Jagannath, he gets a cold, and there's no darshan for 15 days. And during that time, the Dayatapati and the family of the Dayatapati, they are completely removing all the colors of Lord Jagannath and then redecorating him. So 15 days later, when he'll appear on the first day of Rath Yatra, then he's shining, Navayovanam. His youth is ever fresh. So during those 15 days, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, already in Puri, he's feeling so much separation from Krishna, but now he cannot go to have darshan of Lord Jagannath. His separation is dvigunit. It becomes double. And every year he would leave the Jagannath Puri and he would go and stay at the temple of Alanath temple in Brahmagiri. So Ramananda Rai, he was born just a few kilometers down the road from that Alanath temple. Every time we go to Jagannath Puri Parikrama, we always visit that place, the birthplace of Ramananda Rai. And still his family, his descendants, not his direct descendants because he had no children, but his younger brother Gopinath Patanayak, his descendants are still living there today. Yes. But if you go there, they are very kind. They'll invite you into the house where Ramananda Rai was born, and you can see his water pot, his pen with which he wrote so much poetry, his sword, because he was the governor of the Visakhapatnam in South India, in the government of Pratyabhudra Maharaj. All those things are there. So Ramananda Rai appeared there. He was in a Karan caste. They are technically Sudras, but they're very intelligent. So the kings, they used to engage them as their government ministers. So Ramananda Rai, he was previously staying in Puri, and the king, Pratyabhudra Maharaj, sent him, and he became a minister in his government in the south, in Visakhapatnam, and he was staying there on the bank of the sacred river Godavari. Every day he used to go with hundreds of brahmanas and musicians, brahmanas chanting Vedic mantras and musicians playing instruments, and take his ceremonial bath there. He would go riding on a palanquin. So though he wasn't the king, but he was very high in the government, so he was like a king. When Mahaprabhu arrived after accepting sannyas from Navadvip, he arrived in Jagannath Puri. The Ramananda Rai was not staying there. He was in South India at that time. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya told him, "Oh, you should know that in South India, there's a great Vaishnava. And actually, I used to poke fun at him. I used to make jokes with him, thinking he was a sentimentalist. Why? Because before Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was the guru of all the Mayavadis in Jagannath Puri. He was a Grihastha, but he had so many sannyasi disciples who were studying Vedanta from him. But by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he left that Mayavad philosophy and became a pure Vaishnava. It was a special lila, because actually that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is the incarnation of Brihaspati, the guru of all the demigods, who had appeared especially to take part in Gauranga Mahaprabhu's lila. So now he became a devotee. He said, I used to think that Ramananda Rai was a sentimentalist, and I used to poke fun at him. But now I realize he's the topmost Rasik Vaishnava. You should try to meet with him. I don't know anyone in this world who is so qualified in the subject of Krishna Bhakti Rasa. So Mahaprabhu, hearing this, he became very eager. And on the pretext of searching out his brother Vishwarup, because when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a boy, Nimai Pandit, his elder brother Vishwarup took sannyas, and his name became Shankararanya. And he was traveling in South India. So Mahaprabhu was thinking, I'll go to South India and try to find my brother. But that was just the pretext. The real reason he wanted to go south was to seek out the association of Ramananda Rai. Yes. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing us by his own example that the Tattvavit, Brajarasik, Rupanuga Vaishnav Sangha, the association of those Vaishnavas who have realized Tattva, who are relishing transcendental rasa, especially following Srila Rupa Goswami. That association is very rare and it is most valuable. Susrustraya Vajana Vikyam Anya Nindari Shunyaridam Ipsita Sangha Labdya. Ipsita Sangha Labdya means one should always desire to attain such association. Because without such high-class association, then one cannot enter into the ocean of rasa. Satam prasangan mamavirya samvedo bhavantiritkan rasayana katam. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, if you associate with worldly persons, they'll talk about worldly things. And then your mind will be completely filled with that vibration. But only when you associate with Braj Rasik Vaishnavas, then there's such a flow of beautiful Harikatha. The nectar of the love of Radha and Krishna and their pastimes in Vrindavan. And by associating with them and hearing from them, then our whole chitta, our whole consciousness, it becomes rasa yukta, it becomes united with rasa. It becomes filled with breath. It becomes so dense that any material feelings, they cannot even enter into your consciousness. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati. We want this condensed nectar to be completely saturating our consciousness, and it only comes from high-level Vaishnav Sangha. So in this regard, Srila Gurudev said, just see how Sachinandan Gohari, he received Diksha from Madhavendra Puri, but it was not enough. He received Harinam and Diksha, but it was not enough. He was Trinadapi Sunichena, more humble than a blade of grass, but it was not enough. He was filled with lobe, he had greed, but it was not enough. Even he took sannyas and left all of his loved ones in Navadvip in search for Krishna, but it was not enough. What was missing? Braj Rasik Vaishnava Sangha. And this is the reason, real reason why Mahaprabhu went on the tour of South India, because he was eager to seek out the association of Ramananda Rai. In the very first verse of the chapter of Ramananda Samvad, Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj has given a Mangala Charanam, an introduction, an auspicious invocation. And in that one Sanskrit verse, there, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has expressed the essence of the whole conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. He says, Sancharya Rama bheda-abheda-tattva meghe swabhakti siddhanta chayamritani gorabdi eita amuna vitirnais tadyatva ratnalayatam prayati. He's saying here, Gorabdi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like an ocean. He is Krishna himself. And why has Krishna appeared in this world in the form of Gauranga? Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kiddishovanayeva. He wants to understand how deep is the love of Srimati Radhika. Swadyoyi Nadbhuta Madhurima Kiddishova. And what sweetness in me does Radharani realize by the power of her love? Everyone sees Krishna's sweetness depending on how deep their love is. So, prema dwari nitya radhika ekale amara madhurya amrita ashwade sakale. Krishna said, only Radharani, by the power of her love, only she tastes the madhurya amrita, the nectar of my sweetness, completely. No one else. What does she experience? Krishna wanted to know. That's the second desire. And the third desire. What is that? Sokyam chasya madanubhavita kiddisham veti lobhat. Tadbhava dya samajani sachigarbhas indau varindu. He wanted to know, when Radhika, through the power of her love, realizes my sweetness, then what happiness does she experience? This. So these three desires. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by taking Harinam, by taking Diksha, by taking Sannyas, by being more humble than a blade of grass, by being filled with grief, still he could not fulfill them. How could he fulfill them? Only by the association of Ramananda Rai, Brajrasik Vaishnav Sangh. So he was eager for that. So how his desire was fulfilled is expressed in this verse. Sancharya Rama Bheda-abheda-tattva. Gauranga Mahaprabhu is like the ocean. And Ramananda Rai, Rama Bheda-abheda-tattva, he is like a cloud. So what is interesting here, if you just look at it from external material or historical point of view, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a sadhu from Bengal. And Ramananda Rai is the householder in the government of the king from Orissa, Utkal. So they are two separate people. But from the point of view of Tattva, no. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like the ocean and Ramananda Rai is like a cloud. Because just as from invisibly you cannot see how it happens, but the water evaporates and it becomes the cloud. And they seem to be separate, but actually the cloud has come from the ocean. So in the same way, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita Vistabhiya Eva Nija Rupa Taya Kalabi. See, Krishna is the embodiment of the Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, Nija Rupa Taya, and Radhika is his own expansion, his Ladini Shakti. Kalabi and the gopis are the expansions of Radhika. So Ramananda Rai, just as Radhika has come from Shri Krishna as the embodiment of Ladini Shakti, then one bhav of Radhika as manifest as Vishaka Sakhi. And that Vishaka Sakhi has come in this world now as Ramananda Rai. So Mahaprabhu is like the ocean and Ramananda Rai, the incarnation of Vishaka Sakhi, has come from Mahaprabhu. But what happens? That when the rain, Swabhakti Siddhanta Chayamaritani, the cloud pours down the rain. And if the rain falls at a most auspicious moment during the constellation of stars called Swati Nakshatra, then that rain, it is said, according to the Kavis, according to the poets, that rain has a special power, that the water from the rain at the time of Swati Nakshatra, when it goes in the ocean, then it causes the ocean to become called a Ratnalai. That is the abode of jewels. See? So what's wonderful here is there were no jewels in the ocean and there were no jewels in the cloud. But when the cloud began to rain at the auspicious moment, then the jewels appeared. So in the same way, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met with Ramananda Rai, it was like the Swati Nakshatra time. And when Ramananda Rai was speaking Swabhakti Siddhanta Chayamritani, the nectar of beautiful Harikatha, that was the rain of nectar falling on the ocean of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Mahaprabhu, who was like the ocean, he became Ratnalai. He became filled with the jewels of realization of how deep is Radhika's love. What is the sweetness in Krishna that Radhika experiences, and what is the happiness she experiences when she tastes those sweetnesses? So it was by the mercy of Ramananda Rai's Harikatha that Krishna was able to, in this pastimes in this world as Gauranga Mahaprabhu, fulfill his three desires. Sri Ramananda Rai ki Jai. Amazing. So amazing. So what were the jewels of realization? In the commentary, Srila Gurudev said that, in the beginning of the universe, Sri Krishna gave the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam, the 4 seed verses of Bhagavatam, to Lord Brahma. So when he spoke those verses, he told Lord Brahma that Jnanam Pramam Guhyam Me Tadvigyana Samanvitam Sarahasya Tadangam Cha Grihanam Gatitam Maya. Said, "O Brahma, now I will give you this Jnana, which is Guhya, very confidential Jnana, knowledge. And Tadvigyana Samanvitam, also Vigyan. What is Vigyan? This is the general idea here. Vigyan, we'll explain later. Tadrahasya, And this is accompanied by rahasya, some mystery, and tadanga. This mystery has some angas, some limbs. And so, the general meaning is, Vigyan here means knowledge of Krishna's Swarup. And Vigyan means knowledge of Krishna's Shakti, how Krishna interacts with his Shakti. And Rahasya means praying. And Tadanga means the angas of bhakti, the practices of bhakti by which we can attain Krishna Prem. So this is a general meaning. But in regard to this Ramananda Sambad, the jewels that appeared in the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, first of all, Gyan, again, it means Krishna Swarup. But it means Krishna Swarup, how Radharani is realizing Krishna Tattva. Then, Vigyan. Here, Vigyan means Radha Tattva. Because supreme of all the Shaktis of Krishna, that is Srimati Radhika. So, Gyanam Param Gulyam Me means Krishna Tattva and Krishna Swarup. Tatvigyana Samamitam means Radha Tattva and Radha Swarup. Then, Sarahasya means Prem, the love of Srimati Radhika. And Tadanga, the limbs of that Prem, means Vilasa Tattva. All the tattvas about Radha Krishna's Nikunja Vilas, how they play together in the Nikunjas of Vrindavan. So these were the jewels that were revealed in the heart of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He knows about this Leela from the perspective, from the vantage point of Krishna, because he's Krishna. But he does not know, he cannot understand all the nectar of these things from the vantage point of Radhika. Only Radhika knows, and Krishna wanted to realize that. So when Mahaprabhu, he arrived on the bank of Godavari, he sat down and he was chanting japa. And then he heard sound. Musicians were playing different instruments. Brahmanas were chanting Vedic mantras, and he saw a big procession. And then Mahaprabhu, he became full of great eagerness. Utkanta. He was thinking, oh, I came here especially to meet with the Ramananda Rai, and by the arrangement of Krishna. It has happened automatically. It has happened naturally. And so, the Ramananda Rai, he got down from his palanquin and he approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and gave pranam, and Mahaprabhu embraced him. And when they embraced each other, then both fainted in ecstasy. Because Krishna is now meeting for the first time after a long time Vishakasana in a different form now in Gaura Leela. And Ramananda Rai, he said, oh, you must be. I think that you must be Krishna himself. How is it possible? Because everyone here, the name of Krishna has come on their tongues. All the hundreds of people who are with him, they're all chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. It was coming naturally, automatically. Mahaprabhu very humbly said, I'm just a Mayavadi sannyasi. I don't know anything about bhakti at all. But just by touching you, now I am realizing the meaning of bhakti. And everyone has tears in their eyes. It's only because of your presence. So Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai, they were glorifying each other in a very humble way. This is what happens when pure Vaishnavas meet. They express their great appreciation. They think, oh, today I am fortunate to have the darshan of a pure Vaishnava. So they were glorifying each other. So it was not possible for them to have a confidential conversation at that time because there were so many people there. So they arranged to meet again privately later. So then Ramananda Rai took his bath and went away. And then in the evening, he came back with just one servant who stayed at some distance. And he was dressed in very simple clothes, not like a king. And he gave pranam to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu was very eager to hear Harikatha from him. And Prabhu kohi, pori shlok sadhyara ninyai. Mahaprabhu said, hey Ramananda Rai, recite a verse that defines the sadhya, the goal of life. This is Mahaprabhu's first question. What is the goal of life? So Ramananda Rai, he gave example. Vanashrama charavata Purushena parapaman Vishnu aradhyate panta nanyat tatto shakaranam. He quoted from the Vishnu Purana that says that for the human being, there is no other way to worship the Supreme Lord Sri Vishnu other than the performance of the duties of Varnashram Dharma. That means if you are Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Sudra or Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha or Sannyas, be fixed in your duties and perform them, and you should think, this is my yajna, I'm performing a yajna for Vishnu. When Mahaprabhu heard this, he said, Eho bhaiya, agiteo ai. This is external. Tell me something else. Why? Why did Mahaprabhu reject the Varnashram Dharma as being external? Varnashram Dharma is beneficial for society, and we should try to observe outwardly, in the social sense, the rules and regulations of Varnashram Dharma, which are supportive to our bhakti. That is called Daivi Varnashram Dharma. The Varnashram Dharma, the purpose is not to get Dharma, Artha, Kama, and then Moksha. But the purpose is only to have some social order in which everyone can serve the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. But Ramananda quoted this verse. It was only about the Sakam. Varnashram Dharma performed with some desire to get wealth and to get the fulfillment of sense gratification and in liberation. So Mahaprabhu said this is external. Why? Because your ashram or your varna is not eternal. In one life you change your ashram. In over one life to the next you change your varna. Some persons even change their varna in the same life. Like Vishwamitra Maharaj, he was a Kshatriya, but he did hard austerities and he became Vishwamitra Muni and he became a Brahmin. So these are temporary things, they're external things, they're related only to the body and mind and not to the soul. So because the activities of Varnashram Dharma, they are not Swarup Anubandhi. That Swarup Anubandhi means they're not related to the soul's eternal Swarup, eternal nature. So they're external. Mahaprabhu said, tell me something more. So then Ramananda, he said, Yat karoshi, yadashnosi, yajosi, dadati yat. Yat tapasyasi komteya tat Krishna madarpanam. Ramananda said, Krishna karmapana, offering the fruit of your work to Krishna is the satya, the goal of life. Because in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, Yat karoshi, whatever you do, yadasnashi, whatever you eat, yat jahosi, whatever sacrifices you perform, dadasi yat, whatever you give in charity, yat tapasyasi, whatever austerities you perform, you should do that as an offering to me. When this is called Krishna Karmapranam. This is better than Varnashram Dharma. Why? Because the performance of duties as a sacrifice is the worship of who? Of whom? Vishnu. That Vishnu who is the Purush, the creator of the world. But that Vishnu is only expansion of Krishna. So it's superior to whatever you do, not only Varnashram duties, but anything, whatever you eat, and so on. You do that, and then you pray to Sri Krishna, oh my Lord, I've done this for you, and you offer it to him. So this is better than the Sakam Vaishnava, the Varnashram Dharma. But still Mahaprabhu said, Eho bhaiya, agikewa, this is external. Tell me something more. Go further. Why did Mahaprabhu reject it? Because this is offering to Krishna, right? Yes, but this is not bhakti. Bhakti means Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Swaram, hearing, chanting and remembering about Krishna's name, form, qualities and pastimes, which should be anukul, it should be favorable, pleasing to Sri Krishna. But in this activity, whatever you do for Krishna. That means whatever you want to do, you do what you want to do and you offer the result to Krishna. Bhakti is you do what Krishna wants you to do. It's completely different. The independent person thinks, oh, I'm going to do my own thing and I'm going to offer it to Krishna. It's bhakti. It's not bhakti. It's Krishna karmarpanam. It's not pure bhakti. Pure bhakti is anyabhlasta shunyam. You don't do what you want to do. You do what Krishna wants you to do. And how do you know what Krishna wants you to do? Guru mukha padma vakya chitete koriya ekya. The words which are coming from the lotus lips of Sri Guru. You make that one with your heart. Whatever we think I am or what I should do, all these things, we throw them outside. Get rid of all of that. That is nothing to do with Atma. That is only our material samskars and material conditioning. So we get rid of that and we make our heart completely one with the instructions, the mission, and the teachings of the spiritual master. Then it will be bhakti. Another thing here is not only in this Krishna Karmarpanam, are you doing what you want to do and offering to Krishna? That's one defect. The other defect is this. You are doing it and then you offer it to Krishna. But in bhakti, you don't do the activity and then offer it to Krishna. In bhakti, you offer yourself first. And then the activity you don't have to offer. Because you've already given yourself fully. Perhaps you know the pastimes of Lord Vamandev. Lord Vamandev gave mercy to Bali Maharaj. So Bali Maharaj's name is very interesting. Do you know what Bali means? Bali means the oblation that you offer, that which you offer in a sacrifice is called Bali. So Bali Maharaj, his very name is teaching us that we don't sacrifice and offer things to Krishna. We are the sacrifice. We have to be the sacrifice ourselves. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur used to say, there are 7 flames in the fire of the Sankirtan Yagya. Chaito darpanamajanam bhava mahadavagni nivapanam karvachandra kavitanam vidyavadu jivanam anandam bhurivarnam patipadam purnamritasvadanam sarvatmastapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. In the Sankirtan Yagya, there are 7 flames in that fire, and you have to go swaha and offer yourself in the fire of Harinam Sankirtan. So this is the defect here. Don't do what you want to do for Krishna and then offer it to him. No, we have to do what Krishna wants us to do, and we have to offer ourselves fully. And then there's no need to do any further offering. Because everything you do is bhakti now, because the soul has been offered. Everyone knows the verse of Prahlad Maharaj, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. But the next verse, Iti Pum Sarpita Vishnau, Bhaktischan Navalakshana, Kreti Bhagavattadhatanyam Manyeditam Uttamam. Prahlad Maharaj says, I consider that person is most learned and his education is complete, who first offers his whole self to Vishnu and then engages in Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. If we haven't offered ourselves, then our hearing, chanting and remembering is for show. It's like a theater, like a drama. Only when we offer ourselves first, fully in Krishna's service, then when we engage in chanting, then this chanting is not an activity of the gunas. It is not even performed by our senses, but rather Swarup Shakti. The internal potency of Krishna descends like an avatar onto our tongue, onto our ears, and manifests. Bhakti is the vilas of Swarup Shakti. Bhakti is the play of Krishna's internal potency. If you just get your senses and start doing what we call bhakti, not bhakti. Surrender to Krishna first, and then his energy descends, then we experience the appearance of the holy name, the appearance of Harikatha on our tongue, in our ears, in our heart. This is Shuddha Bhakti. So Mahaprabhu, when he heard about this Krishna Karmarpanam, do what you want to do, and then offer it to Krishna and go home. Mahaprabhu said, Eho bhaya adikeva. This is external, tell me something more. So then, Ramananda Rai, he said, Agyayaiva gunan doshan, maya vistan piswakan, dharma sanchaja yasavan, mambajet sacha sattama. That person, Krishna says, who analyzes all the virtues and the faults of the duties which have been described by me in the scripture. and understanding their virtues and understanding their limitations and faults, he leaves them behind. He gives them up only to serve me. I consider him Sattama, the best sadhu. So then Ramananda Rai said, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam shanam braja aham tam saga papebhyo mokshayishami ma suchaha. As Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, hey Arjun, give up all varieties of worldly religion related to the body and the mind and just surrender to me. I will protect you from all sinful reactions, because in Varnashram Dharma we have duties. But if we don't do our duties, what happens? Then you get the pap. Sinful act. Pap is not only doing some adharma. Pap is also not doing your dharma. You get sinful activities. So Arjun, he could be afraid. How can I leave my worldly dharmas? I'll get sinful reaction. Krishna is saying, Aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshayishami. I'll liberate you from all pap. Ma suchaha. Don't be worried. Don't lament or be in anxiety. When Mahaprabhu heard this, surrendered to Krishna, giving up all worldly occupations. When Mahaprabhu heard this, he said, Eho bhaya agikeva. This is also external. This is also external. Why? This is only the negation of the worldly activities. It is not describing the actual positive activity of the soul. And also, masuchaha means, don't be worried about sinful reactions. So that means the person is considering his own happiness. He's calculating, should I surrender to Krishna or should I not surrender to Krishna? If I leave my dharma, then maybe I'll get some sins for this. Oh, but Krishna, he's reassuring me. It's all right. I'll take away the sins. All right, then I'll surrender to you. This is not spontaneous love. This is transactional. This is business. Making a deal with God. All right, I'll surrender to you. Just make sure that I don't get any sinful reactions. Where's the love? So Mahaprabhu said, this is external. Tell me something more. So then Ramananda said, what did he say? What was the next verse he quoted? Oh, you jumped over one verse. Close. That's the one afterwards. Close. Yeah. He said, Brahma bhuta prasanatma na sochati na kankshati samaksaveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. In Gita, Krishna said, a person who realizes Brahma, that he's a spirit soul, that he's not a material being. A person understands that he is the spiritual and becomes free from the bodily conception of life, and therefore na sochati. What's the symptom of not being in the bodily conception of life? Na sochati. He never laments. If you find yourself lamenting, if you find yourself complaining, it means that you're in ignorance and the bodily conception of life, and you have certified yourself Sudra. Because that's the meaning of Sudra, means one who laments unnecessarily. Nothing bad ever happened in this world, in the past, the present, or the future. Supreme Lord is in control of everything. He's the friend of every living entity. There's no need to lament about anything. But one who still, after hearing this, is lamenting, then they are Sudra in the mode of ignorance. But one who is free from the bodily conception of life, na sochati, na kankshati. Kankshati means he does not hanker for any worldly thing. He is not hungry and thirsty for any worldly achievement. So that person, samaksaveshu bhuteshu, he sees all living entities equally. He knows that this person is like this person is like that. That means their covering is like that. But actually everyone is Atma. Everyone is a soul. Everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. Everyone's soul has a glorious prospect. That is, they exist for the only one telos, for only one purpose, and that is to attain Krishna Prem. It's for everyone. It is the Sanatana Dharma, the eternal religion of every soul. So when he knows this, then mad bhaktim labate param, then that person who was practicing the bhakti mixed with jnana, then when he becomes freed from his ignorance by practicing bhakti mixed with gyan, then he attains pure bhakti. Example is given that Maya, the mature energy, has two vrittis. The vidya vritti, the knowledge function, and that is sattva gun, the mode of goodness. And the avidya vritti, the ignorance function, it comes from rajagun and turns into tamagun. So Maya has these two functions to give knowledge and ignorance. So the vidya vritti of Maya is like fire, and it burns the fuel of avidya vritti. So when the fire of the vidya vritti, sattva gun, has burnt away all the ignorance, now what happens when fire has no more fuel? It goes out. So in the same way, that person who was practicing gyan is a sattvic path. It's not transcendental. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. Knowledge comes from the mode of goodness. So the jnana yoga is actually a sattvic path, cultivating sattva gun to get jnana. But the person who's practicing bhakti mixed with jnana, then what happens? When their vidya vritti is like a fire, burns all the fuel of the avidya vritti, the ignorance, then the vidya vritti itself goes out, that fire goes out. There's no fuel and no fire, and then what are you left with? Only bhakti. So this is the meaning of that verse. Brahma bhuta prasanatmana sochati nakanchati samaksa veshu bhuteshu. Then mad bhaktim labate param. He attains transcendental bhakti because his bhakti before was mixed with a mode of goodness. But when the avidya vritti was burnt by the vidya vritti, then that fire went out and he's left only with mad bhaktim labate param, transcendental bhakti. Now, when Mahaprabhu heard this, he said, Eho bhaiya agikewa. This is external, tell me something more. This is also external, because it does not tell us what is the ultimate goal of the jiva. Bhakti is a sadhana, and this bhakti also, which is attained by jnana mishra bhakti, leads to aishwarya jnana. It leads to Vaikuntha. So then Ramananda Rai said, all right, the sadhya is jnana shunya bhakti. Bhakti which is completely devoid of the mixture of jnana, the path of knowledge. So then Ramananda Rai quoted a verse spoken by Lord Brahma, as Bhumipat Guru was saying, Jnane prayasam purapasya namanta eva jivanti sanmukaritam bhavadiya vartam stane stita srutigatam tanuvan manobi ye prayasodita ditopya sitaistilokyam. Lord Brahma said, oh my Lord, O Ajit, unconquerable Krishna, Jnane prayasam purapasya, those persons who give up the endeavor for knowledge. Now, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he gives the deep path behind this verse. He says that Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Tapasya, all these different paths, they're called Arohapanta. Arohapanta. The ascending process, that means the process of self-elevationism. By my own effort, I will climb up to higher and higher realizations. Bhakti is not like that. Bhakti is not arohapanta. Yes, I will climb up to higher and higher realizations. Bhakti is avrohapanta. Bhakti is like a beggar. A beggar holds out his pot and cries, please, be merciful to me. And a wealthy man, he may put some money or some food in his begging bowl. So, the pure bhakta, he knows his sadhana. By my sadhana, I cannot attain Krishna. Actually, my sadhana is only crying for Krishna's mercy. That is all. And then, if Krishna's mercy will be added to my sadhana, then I'll be successful. This is why when Mother Yashoda tried to bind baby Krishna, the rope was 2 fingers too short. 1 finger means our sadhana, but it's not enough. On top of that, there should be Drishtva Parshuram Krishna Kripayasit Sabandhane. When Krishna saw Mother Yashoda was endeavoring and sweating, She was endeavoring so hard, she was perspiring and the flowers were falling from her hair and she was exhausted and her face had become red. Then Krishna felt sorry for her. Then Yogamaya came and at once Krishna was bound. So, bhakti is not the ascending process, it's descending. And how does it descend? It descends nigama kalpataro galitam palam shukamukadam rasa draba samvitam pibat bhagavatam rasamalayam ora horaska bhuvi babaka. Srimad Bhagavatam is the mature, ripened, juicy fruits on the desire tree of the Vedas, full of rasa. And it is descending from Shukadeva Goswami to Sutta Goswami in the parampara, step by step. It descends to us in the form of Harikatha. So Lord Brahma is saying, Dhyane prayasa mudapasa. Give up the attempt to rise up by your own power, by your own intellect, and just jivanti san mukaritam. Listen, bhavadiya vartam, to Harikatha coming from the lips of pure devotees. San mukarita means directly from the mouth. Not from the YouTube video or any recording or AI or anything. Directly from the lips of a pure Vaishnava. Why? Because this is Shabda Brahma. Spiritual sound. Spiritual sound has achintya shakti, inconceivable power, that if we are fully surrendered, at that very moment, tatchamat, the very moment as we are listening, the Shabda Brahma will give us darshan of Shri Krishna. And what we are hearing, we will see it. Shutakshita part is the path of seeing through the ears. If we are not seeing Krishna when we hear about Krishna, it means there is some block, some material covering of the ear, of the sense of hearing. Only when we surrender, then that Shabda Brahma will do the karna bhed sanskar, pierce the covering of the ear and manifest in the heart, direct vision of Krishna. This is actually Shravanam. Shravanam means darshanam, seeing Krishna through the ears. So, Lord Brahma is saying, those persons who give up the ascending process and they bow down to the speaker of Harikatha, to the listeners of the Harikatha, to the place where the Harikatha is being organized, to the organizers, to the cooks, to Krishna Mohan and his wife, and everything which is connected to the Harikatha. If we bow down to all of those things, it shows how we have respect for the Shabda Brahma, the descent of Krishna's Leela in transcendental sound, because they're all connected with that. So sthane stita jivanti sanmukaritam bhavadiya vartam. Jivanti means this katha is live. It means that Srimad Bhagavatam is a Shastra, but the Srimad Bhagavatam has a living form, and that is the sadhu who is present in this world today. Is the Jivanti Shastra, the living scripture. So we hear it for them, and then what happens? Sthane stita means stay where you are. Whatever ashram you're in, no need to change. If you're brahmachari, be brahmachari. If you're grihastha, be grihastha. There's no need to make any external physical adjustments. Because this divine experience of Harikatha is not related to any worldly upadhi, worldly designations. So sthane stita, wherever you are, you don't have to change anything. But just listen carefully with the deepest honor in the heart. Then sthane stita sutikatam tanuvan manobir. By your body, mind and words, serve Harikatha. And then Taistilokyam. That Krishna, who is the Lord of the three worlds, who is Ajit, cannot be conquered, he becomes conquered by you. That means simply by hearing Harikatha, we attain Krishna Prem, because Krishna is only conquered by love. So, what does it mean? Tanuvan manobir, to serve the Harikatha by body, mind and words. By body means, to sit up straight, don't be slouching around. Sit up straight and with folded hands like this and with the mouth open. Krishna Chaitanya says, with mouth open. Why? Because in the mind one should be thinking, I've never heard anything so beautiful in my life. That's serving by the mind. And serving by the voice means at the end of the Harikatha, you should jump up and say, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Bravissimo. Bravo. More. Encore. Like this. Glorify the Harikatha when the Harikatha ends. So this is what it means to serve the Harikatha by body, mind and words. So here there's some double meanings as well. Stani stita Kratam tanuvan manobi ye praya soditatitu pyasitaistilokyam. Stane stita can also mean stay in the place where the Harikatha is. So if the Harikatha gets up and goes somewhere else, go there. Stay where you are means stay where the Harikatha is. So everyone, please come tomorrow to Manhattan. In the Serenity Retreat Center in Manhattan, very nearby, there's a beautiful retreat center on the top of a building there. And there'll be a special program many people look up. And it will be on the subject of the unique contribution of Srila Rupa Goswami Pad. That is our Gurudev's favorite subject. Gurudev would often, when he would have a Dharma Sabha religious assembly, and invite all the scholars of Braj Mandal to come and speak. For 5 days, he would have this festival of Rupa Goswami for 5 days every year in Vrindavan. So we want to speak on this subject tomorrow. So please, everyone come. It's from, Kirtan starts at 3. I'll begin at 3:30 until 6. 3:30 till 6, then there'll be prasadam. And then we have to pack up everything and be out by 7 o'clock. So from 3 till 7 tomorrow. I know that tomorrow is Bronx Ratha Yatra. So there's a competing event, I know very well. But the Bronx Ratha Yatra starts at 10 in the morning. So you can go there at 10 in the morning and be in Bronx Ratha Yatra for 5 hours. And then come to the program in Manhattan, please. So please come and support the glories of Srila Rupa Goswami tomorrow. That's the end of my commercial break. Now, so it came up in regard to the verse of Lord Brahma. Stane sita. If the Harikatha goes somewhere else, go there where the Harikatha is. Tanuvan manobhya means one should serve the Harikatha by body, mind and words, then you conquer Krishna. But there's another meaning. It means that you conquer Krishna's body, mind and words by hearing Harikatha. You conquer Krishna's body. Why? Because whatever Krishna is doing, if you hear Harikatha and this love appears in the heart, then Krishna will drop what he's doing and he will come running to you. You conquer his mind because Krishna is thinking, oh, na parayam nirabhajya samyujam. How can I ever repay this devotee? Smara gara lakhandanam mama sirasi mandanam dehi padapalavam udaram. And you conquer Krishna's words because Krishna will come and bow down and say, please forgive me that I am late. I am suffering in separation from you. So be kind to me and relieve my separation by placing your lotus feet on my head. Krishna will say to you, when we hear Harikatha and this Prem comes in the heart. So here it means by your body, mind and words you conquer Krishna, or it can mean that Krishna's body, mind and words become conquered by you. When you attain Krishna Prem by listening to the beautiful pastimes of Sri Krishna. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this verse, he did not say, Eho Bhaiya, this is external. This is the first time he didn't say this is external. He liked this very much. Why? Because it's the Jnana Shunya Bhakti. It's Bhakti with no Jnana mixed in. Pure Bhakti. Because it's fully related to the divine realm of Krishna's name, form, qualities and pastimes. So Mahaprabhu said, Eho Hai. That means this is alright. Yeah, this is alright. But Adi Kewa, can you tell me something more? So Mahaprabhu, we wanted to hear a little bit more about Prem, about love. So then Ramananda Rai, he thought, okay. Then he quoted a very beautiful verse. Nano pachara krita puja ma'ata bandho prenaiva bhakta hridaya sukhavitratam syat yavat shudasti jatare jayata pipasa tavat sukaya bhavato nanubhakshapeye. Meaning is this: if you are hungry and thirsty, then when you eat, you feel pleasure. If you're completely full and someone shows you, oh, feel very delicious, have some more sweet rice, then you feel bad actually. You cannot enjoy. So the happiness that you feel in eating is proportionate to the intensity of your hunger and thirst. So, in the same way, the joy that the devotee feels in performing bhakti is in proportionate to his loving thirst, his thirst to please Krishna. You see? Because Prem is also called the Rag. Prem, is called the Trishna. It's a type of thirst. When one feels thirsty to please Krishna's senses, and the more one is the hungry to please Krishna, then the hunger comes in the belly of Krishna. Otherwise, Krishna is not hungry. You know, Duryodhan, he invited Krishna, come to my home. And he prepared a big feast on gold and silver plates. But Krishna did not go there. Where did he go? He went to the house of Vidura. And Vidurani, the wife of Vidura wasn't there. Vidurani was there. She was in the shower. She was naked. She was in the shower. And Krishna knocked on the door. Said, oh, it's me, Krishna. Let me in. And when she heard, it's me, Krishna, she became mad with love. And she just ran out of the shower, still wet, with no clothes. She wasn't even aware that she was not dressed. And then she opened the door and invited Krishna in to sit down. And then she went to get something to feed him, but she had no food, only some bananas were there. And she peeled the bananas, and in ecstasy, she threw the banana away and put the peel on the plate. And with the love in her eyes, and she gave to Krishna. Krishna very mercifully took his pitambara, his yellow cloth, and put it over Vidurani. And then he looked at the banana peel, and suddenly, he never felt like this, but on this day, he was feeling, that banana peel looks delicious. And he began to eat the banana peel, and it was so tasty. And then, her husband came back, Vidura. And when Vidura saw, my wife is naked and she's covered with Krishna's cloth, and Krishna's eating a banana peel and she's feeding him. He thought he was about to say something. Krishna, shh, don't say anything. Why? Because she was in bliss. She did not know who am I, where am I, or anything. She was just in the bliss of serving Krishna. So because she was hungry to feed Krishna, she was feeling bliss when she pleased him. And because she was hungry to serve him, Krishna was feeling hunger to eat whatever she offered. This is the nature of Prem. This is the nature of love. Afterwards, Duryodhan, he said to Krishna, oh, all that food was wasted. It went cold. We had to throw it away. And you did not come. Krishna said, I did not come because of two reasons. First of all, I am not hungry. Krishna is Atmaram. He's Supreme Lord. Atmaram. He's self-satisfied. So he's not hungry. Unless the devotee has prayed. So he said, I am not hungry and you don't love me. So, what can he do? How could Krishna go to eat there? So, Bhakta Dravya Prabhu Kari Kari Kai. Abhakta Dravya Prabhu Ulati Na Chai. If there's a non-devotee, if they make an offering, Krishna does not accept it. And if there's a devotee, even if he has love, even if he does not offer, Krishna will come and take it by force. This is Krishna's nature. He will not wait. Like the gopis, the elderly gopis, they churn the yogurt and they make butter. And then this butter is to give to the brahmanas, and the brahmanas will make a yagya, swaha, swaha, and offer it to the Supreme Lord. But these gopis, they don't know the Supreme Lord is actually living there in Vrindavan as Nandalal, as Yashoda Dulal, the beautiful darling boy of Yashoda. And before they can even give the ghee to the brahmanas and the yogurt and butter to the brahmanas, Krishna comes and breaks into their kitchen and he steals everything. Makanchur. He cannot wait for the offering. He cannot wait for the mantras. Idam naivedyam satulasi panyaja. It takes too long. Because if the devotee has love, then Krishna is so hungry. At once he comes there. So Ramananda Rai said this, but he was not fully satisfied, so he said another verse. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitamati kritam yadi kutopi labhyate tatlo yam api mulamekalam Koti janma sukrita nalabhyate. If a person wants the Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mati, that his whole consciousness will be like a rasagulla. If you cook a rasagulla, then you have to leave it soaking overnight in the sugary syrup. And slowly all the sweetness will enter and it will pervade the rasagulla completely. So then the next day, any way you touch the rasagulla, rasa is coming out. On the top, on the side, on the bottom. And if you squeeze it, more rasa will come out. And still, you bite it, there's still more rasa inside. So Ramananda said, if you want your consciousness like this, completely full of bhakti rasa, then priyatam yadikuto pilabhyute, wherever that's available, you must purchase it without delay. Really? It's on sale? This consciousness is for sale? What's the price? Tatralolyam apimula mekalam. There's only one price. Greed. Greed. Koti janma sukrita nalabhyate. You can do sukriti. You should know that here sukriti means Vaidhi Bhakti. You can follow the rules and regulations of Vaidhi Bhakti for 10 million lifetimes, but you'll never have Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati. Why? It only comes from the Brajrasic Vaishnav Sangha, associating. So Mahaprabhu did not stay in Puri there doing Vaidhi Bhakti every day. He was looking, where can I go and hear from a Rasik Vaishnava? So he came to Ramananda Rai. When Mahaprabhu heard this verse, he was very happy. And he said, Eho, hi, this is also okay. Agikeo, but tell me something more. Now these two verses, they have a relationship. The first one is about praying that comes from following Vaidhi Bhakti. How do we know? Because it says, Nana upachara krita pujama arta bandho. Nana upachar. Upachar. Upachar means the articles of offering. If you do the archan, worshipping the deity, then there is Sodasha Upachar, 16 articles. You have to offer an asana, pushpanjali flowers, an asana, and wash the feet, and offer the argya, and madhuparka, and achamaniam, and dup, and deep, and pushpa, and taila, and snan, like this. 16 articles in all that is called Sodash Upachar Puja. The archan worship performed with 16 articles. So this verse, it describes Nanopachara Krita Puja. It's a formal type of worship. To whom? Pranaiva Bhaktar Sukaya Bhaktar Hridayam Sukavidyaya Syat. Nanopachara Krita Pujam Artabandho. The name of Krishna is Artabandho, the friend of the distressed. The friend Artabandhu, the friend of the distressed. Why is Krishna called Artabandhu, the friend of the distressed in this verse? It means this, that Krishna will only accept the offering if the person, even offering in Vaidhi Bhakti, 16 articles, but he's feeling distressed and crying, oh Krishna, this is all I have. And I'm offering this to you. And if you don't accept it, I will die. What's the use of staying alive if you will not accept my offering? So the person who's making the offering, he's the artha. He's the person who is the suffering. He's suffering from the feeling that, Krishna, if you will not accept my offering, I will die. But Krishna is artha bandho. He's the friend of that person, and he takes his offering. And when he takes it, then that devotee feels great happiness in proportion to his brain. But this brain has Aishwarya Bhav because it's a formal type of worship. It leads to Vaikuntha or Mahavaikuntha. Golok, Mathura, and Dwarka, they're all Mahavaikuntha. But Braj, Vrindavan, Gokul is beyond Vaikuntha and beyond Mahavaikuntha. And that can only be attained by Raganuga Bhakti. And Raganuga Bhakti comes from hearing from Brajrasic Vaishnavas, and that generates greed. The greed really means that when you hear how the gopis are serving Krishna, that in your trance you see it. And seeing how they're serving Krishna, then you go, I also want to serve like that. This is greed. Not theoretical greed. Not, oh, I heard this guitar, it was really interesting. I'm quite fascinated by this. In fact, I'm feeling quite obsessed and consumed by it. I have great enthusiasm for it. That's good. It's a start. But actual greed is seeing how Krishna and Radhika are being served in the heart at the time of hearing, and then intense greed comes. So Mahaprabhu said, this is good, but tell me something more. So then what did Ramananda Rai say? This is a test. You are thinking, oh, Gurudev left in 2010, 15 years ago. Now no one will get on my case. But it's not true. I am here. And I will get on your case. Srila Gurudev has printed the Ramananda Samvad. He has spoken on Ramananda Rai Samvad so many times. And everywhere he said all the devotees should know Ramananda Samvad. Didn't he say that? Yes. So Ramananda Rai said, Yat guna srutimatrena puman bhavati nirmala tasya tirtapadakim va dasanam avashishyate. Was spoken by Durvasa Muni when Durvasa Muni saw the greatness of Ambarish Maharaj. Yannama srutimatrena. That Lord is so glorious. If someone just hears his name, Puman Bhavati Nirmala, he becomes completely purified. All his karma is destroyed if a person hears the name of Krishna. Tasya tirtapadakim va. And if Krishna will keep his foot in any place, then that place becomes a tirtha, becomes a holy dham. So if Krishna is so great that he purifies the world only by the sound of his name, that he makes any place a tirtha just by the touch of his feet, then if someone is his personal servant, then what is left for that person to attain? Dasanam avasish means what remains. Just like an ordinary person, they may think, oh, I became a millionaire. But then they think, oh, I want to become a billionaire. So then they become a billionaire. I want to be a multi-billionaire. There's always something else remaining. But Durvasa Rishi is saying, once you've become the personal servant of this unlimited, pure, beautiful Supreme Lord, there's nothing greater than this. There's no promotion above that. So then Ramananda Rai quoted another verse from the Yamuna Stotra. Evam bhavant anucharam nirantara prashanta nishesha manoratantara kadaham aikantiki nitya kinkara prahashayashami sanata jivitam. One devotee, he's praying, oh my Lord, when will I become your aikantiki nitya kinkar, your eternal one-pointed servant, in such a way that my mind will feel the supreme peace, because I'll have no manorat, I'll have no more desires. This is the sign. If someone is fixed in the mood, Krishna, I am your servant, then anya abhilashtha shumyam, they cannot have any other desires. And it's desires that make us not peaceful. If in the mind there's any disturbance, if a person is not fully satisfied and happy, Gurudev would say, I can tell by looking at your face. Who is happy? Are you happy? Are you happy? And by the face, whereas I can tell if you're happy. And if you're not happy, why? You have material desires. This is why. This is the only reason. This is the cause. Because if you had no material desires and just think, I'm Krishna's das, then prahasha ishami sanata jivitam, then, oh, I will be so peaceful, not disturbed by desires anymore, and I'll be filled with jubilation. Praharsha means I'll feel great jubilation. Why? Not in myself, but I'll be so happy that my master is so wonderful. If you're the master eternally of a person who is an unlimited ocean of nectar, then what else is there to attain? So in this way, Ramananda Rai, he gave two verses, one spoken by Durvasa Rishi, and this was also from Yamuna Acharya, on the Dasya Bhav, Prem, love, but in Dasya Bhav. Mahaprabhu, again, he said, Eho, hi, this is okay. He just said, okay, why? He's not satisfied yet. Agikya, tell me something more. And the reason is this, that in Vrindavan, there's no pure Dasya Ras. Hanuman has pure Dasya in Ayodhya. But in Vrindavan, there's no pure servants. The if there's someone who's a servant of Krishna, if he's older than Krishna, it's mixed with parental love for him. If he's same or younger than Krishna, his servitude is mixed with friendship, sakyaras. Like this. Krishna, you see, Nanda Baba, he's the king of Braja. So he has so many servants. They're not Krishna servants, they're Nanda Baba servants. And Krishna's the son of Nanda Maharaj. So they feel parental love for him or friendship towards him. So in Braj, there's no pure Dasya Rasa. So this description of the Dasya Bhav given by Ramananda, right? Why? Because he's interested in Vrindavan. So then, Ramananda Rai, he quoted the verse, he said, the Satya, the goal of life is Satya Rasa. Itam satam brahma sukhanu bhuttya dasyam kathanam paradaivatena mayasritanam nardarakena sakam vijaruk tapunja punja. Shukadeva Goswami, he's amazed at the fortune of the cowherd boys. How fortunate are the cowherd boys? There are persons who are the Jnana Mishra Bhaktas. They see Krishna and think, oh, Krishna is the foundation of the Brahman. How great is Krishna? There are those in Dasya Bhav, they say, oh, Krishna, he is the God of gods. He's the supreme Devata. Maya Sutanam Naradarakena. And those who are in Maya, they think Krishna is an ordinary human being. Maya Sutanam Naradarakena. People in Maya think Krishna is an ordinary human being. Or here, Maya Sutanam, Maya Mikani Maya Devi Katayani. So Maya Sutanam, the gopis who took shelter of Maya Devi, that is Katayani Devi, Naradarakena, think Krishna is an ordinary human being. He's the son of Nanda and Yashoda. But anyway, all of them, those who see Krishna as the resting place of Brahma, or those who see him as the supreme Devata, or the gopis who are feeling separation from him and worshipping Katyani, they're not so fortunate like, oh, Sakam Vijaru Krita Punya Punja. Like the cowherd boys. The cowherd boys are playing with him every day in the forest, resting with him, climbing trees with him, swimming in the Jamuna with him. When Krishna is relaxing, they massage his feet. Some boys are fanning him with palm leaves and other boys are singing to him. Ubaho Krishna Bhagavan Shridamanam Parajita. When Shridam, he's wrestling with Krishna, he defeats Krishna. And then Krishna has to carry Shridam on his shoulders as the reward for losing. So, how great are these cowherd boys? I cannot come to the end of their glory, Shukadeva Goswami is saying. So when Mahaprabhu heard this from Ramananda Rai, the love of Braja, which is very close, very intimate, lokik sadbandhu bat sambandha, relating to Krishna like your own intimate friend and family member, with no idea at all that he's Bhagavan. In Braj, everyone knows Lord Narayan is God, and this Nandalal, he's just a naughty boy. So, this love, when Mahaprabhu heard this, he said, Eho Uttam! Ah, this is super. This is supreme. But still, tell me something more. So then Ramananda Rai, he said, Nanda Kim Akarad Brahman Sreya Evam Mayodayam Yashodava Mahabhaga Stano Yasya Papo Yasya Stanam Hari. He's quoting Shukadeva Goswami, who's saying, I don't know what Nanda Maharaj did in his previous life, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes to him with tears in his eyes in the middle of the night. Oh, Papa, I'm scared. Because there was a thunderstorm. In the middle of the night, there was a thunderstorm. Krishna was in bed, he was afraid, and he went to his father's bed. Oh, Papa. What did Nanda Maharaj do to be in this situation? Yashoda Mahabhaga. And what did Yashoda Maya do? Papo Yashastanam Hari. That Mati Yashoda, she decorates Krishna as a baby with a very beautiful pearl necklace and nice yellow cloth and ankle bells and kajal on his eyes and smears him with sandalwood paste. Then he goes outside to play and discovers a new game with his friends. rolling in the cow dung. So then he's rolling in the cow dung in the courtyard of Nanda Baba, and then he realizes, actually, I'm hungry. So then he comes back inside, completely covered in cow dung. Oh my God, please give me your milk, give me your milk. But Yashoda looked at him and said, look what you've done. Just a few minutes ago, I bathed you and I decorated you, and now look at you. Were you a pig in your last life? Krishna, how did mother know about my Varaha incarnation? Oh, mother, please give me milk. No, I'll not give you milk. And he's begging. In this world, usually people are begging God for mercy, but in Braj, God is begging Mother Yashoda for mercy. Please give me your milk. No, I'll teach you a lesson. Twist his ear. When Mahaprabhu heard this, he said, Eho Uttam, this is wonderful. Agi Kewa, can you tell me something more? So then Ramananda said, Nayam Sriyang na unatanta rase prasada swayoshitam nalilaganda rucham kutanya rasutsavasya bhujatanga grihita kanta labdadishamya udagad brajasundarinam. Uddhav is glorifying the gopis. He's saying that the mercy that the gopis receive from Sri Krishna in the Rasalila, when he embraced them around the neck with his long arms, like this, that mercy, Nayam Sriyanga, Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, never experienced such mercy. Ratanta Prate Prashada, or no other consorts. For example, the Kubja in Mathura, and later also Krishna's living with Rukmini and Satyabha, none of them received such mercy as the gopis of Vrindavan during the Rasalila. Is there a Rasalila in Mathura? No. Is there Rasalila in Dwarka? No. Never. Krishna never does Rasalila. He doesn't even play the flute there. So, Labdashamya Udagat Brajasundarinam. Uddhav is saying that Krishna's arms, they're bhuja danda, they are straight. Bhuja, his arms are like danda, they are straight. What does that mean? It means that during the Rasalila, Sri Krishna held the gopis around their necks like this. If a child will sit in your lap and put the arms around your neck like this, then it means you immediately know what you want. It's a begging gesture. So Uddhav is by the Dwani, by the suggestion of this verse, is saying, in the Rasalila, Krishna put his arms around gopis' necks and said, I disappeared from the Rasalila, I left you. But I'm asking you, please, never leave me. If you leave me, I will die. So then, Mahaprabhu was very pleased with this. He said, can you, Agikeyo, Eho Uttam, Agikeyo, can you go further? Tell me something more. So there are many verses. We have to jump over a few because we'll run out of time. But I just want to touch on one or two verses. So Ramananda said, Yatha Radha Priya Vishnus Tasikundam Prem Tatha Sarva Gopishu Sevaka Vishnu Atyanta Ballava. In the Padma Purana it is said, just as Radhika is dear to Sri Krishna, so her Kund, Radha Kund, is dear to him. And out of all the gopis, she is the most dear. Anaya Radhito Nunam Bhagavan Hari Ishaya Yanno Vihaya Govinda Prito Yamanayadraha. Ramananda quoted this verse. Krishna had disappeared from the Rasalila and gopis became mad. They were searching everywhere for Krishna, and finally they found his footprints. And then they saw next to his footprints, there was the footprints of a gopi. So some gopis then said, Anayaradito Nunam. This gopi has worshipped Krishna the most, because Krishna left all of us to be alone with her. Here, Anaya Aradito. Aradito. The word Rad in Sanskrit means success. So Anaya means by her, Radhita, Krishna became successful. Krishna's life became successful when he was alone with Srimati Radhika. Anaya Radhita Anunam Bhagavan Hari Ishwar. So who spoke this verse? This verse was not spoken by Radharani's friends. You know why? Because when Lalita and Vishaka, Radharani's friends, they saw Krishna's footprints and that Krishna was with Radhika. They recognized her footprints and they were in so much ecstasy, they could not speak. This verse was also not spoken by the Vipaksha. That means the rival group. Radharani's rival group led by Chandravali was not spoken by them. Why? Because they also recognized Radharani's footprints and they were so jealous that they could not speak. So they didn't speak it either. So then, the Tatastha Paksh, that means the gopis who are neutral, they saw, and because they're neutral, they don't really care. So they didn't say anything either. So who spoke this? Shamala's group. That means the Surit Paksh, the group of gopis who are favorable to Radhika, they recognized, and Shamala and her Sakhis were very happy, and they were Anaya Radhito Nunam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, this is a very good evidence that Radhika is most beloved of Krishna, but I have a doubt. Because he disappeared with Radharani in a hidden way. No one saw him leave with Radharani. This means that maybe there's another gopi and he loves her and he didn't want to hurt her feelings by disappearing with Radhika in front of her. So if Krishna would disappear with Radhika in front of everyone, only then I'll accept that this is really a good praman, that Radharani is unrivaled. Her love for Krishna is unrivaled. So then Ramananda Rai, he quoted from the Geet Govinda of Jaydev Goswami. Kamsari api samsara vasana badashankalam radham ride adaye tachaja braja sundari itastatastam anusritta radhikam anangabana branakinna manasa Kritanu tapa sakalinda nandini tatanta kunjai vishasada madhava. Here Jaydev Goswami is describing that Krishna began the Rasalila in the springtime, but Radharani was not there. She had not arrived yet. And when Radhika finally arrived and she looked, well, Krishna has started the Rasalila without me. What is this? So she made sure that Krishna noticed that she'd arrived, and then she turned around and disappeared into the forest. And right there, in front of all the gopis, even though all the gopis, they were trying to serve and please Krishna, he could not even see them. He was looking through them. He was only thinking of Radhika. And he just got up and he left everyone to search for Radhika. He went from kunj to kunj, looking in each kunj and could not find her anywhere. And finally, he sat down on the bank of Jamuna and he was crying because he would rather be alone with his memory of Shrimati Radhika than be directly with all the other gopis. So how great is the love of Radhika? Srila Gurudev used to say, Ramananda Rai cannot find words to describe the power of Radharani's love, so he's describing the effect. Just like you cannot describe the power of a hurricane, only you can see that all the roofs were ripped off, all the trees were uprooted, all the cars are upside down. If you describe the chaos that the hurricane has made, then you give some idea what is the power of this hurricane. So in the same way, if you describe the chaos in Krishna's life when Radharani leaves him, then you can understand something about the power of her brain. So Krishna was searching here and there, and finally he sat alone and he was weeping. So when Mahaprabhu heard this, he was very happy. In this way, gradually Ramananda Rai, he described the Krishna Tattva, Radha Tattva, and then he came to Vilasa Tattva. Mahaprabhu said, Hutam, this is wonderful. Agi Kewa, is there something more you can tell? Ramananda Rai said, yes. There's something more. It's called Prem Vilas Vivarta. But I don't know if you'll be pleased by this or not. Because now Ramananda Rai, he'd run out of verses from Shastra. The only verses that he could quote now, they were his own composition. So he said, I don't know. Because Mahaprabhu had said, Parashlok Shastra Nyanyai. define the goal of life according to Shastra. But now he'd gone beyond the limits of what Shastra had described. So Ramananda Rai, he said, I don't know if you will be pleased by this or not. And then he was about to speak. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu covered his mouth. And he stopped him. Why? First of all, this subject is so confidential, so high. It should not be spoken in public. And secondly, what will happen to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he hears this? It will reveal something. What will it reveal? When Mahaprabhu took his hand away from the mouth of Ramananda Rai, it came out. Because Harikatha is like that. It's unstoppable. It's like the current of a river. Mahaprabhu tried to stop the current of a river with his hand, but when he removed his hand, then it was flowing with more force. What did Ramananda Rai say? Pahilehi raga nayana banga bela, anudina barla abadina gela, daso ramana nahama ramani, dui mano manubhava peshla jani, ei saki ei saba prema kahini, kanutama kohibo, kohobi, vicharala jani, na kajala duti, na chakolo an, duhunko milani, tomadja panchaban, absohi ragi, dubeli duti, puruka premaki aichanariti. This poem, his own poem. So, what does it mean? Radharani is speaking. Pahilehi raga nanabanga bala. Anudina barla abadina gala. The meaning is that this rag, this love, it was already in my heart from the beginning. So, pahilehi raga. Pahile means the first time. From the first time, Nayana Banga Bela, I looked at Krishna and Krishna looked at me. Suddenly, this rag appears. It means it was from before. It immediately appeared by itself. Anudina Barila, Abadina Gala. And it rapidly increased. Anudin every day. And now it became unlimited. This is Radharani's experience, going from her childhood into the Kishore Avastha. In childhood, she has a general love for Krishna. Samanya Prem. But as she starts to become a young lady, now it becomes Madhurya. And just looking at Krishna, this Prem manifests and it just goes higher and higher and higher every moment and becomes unlimited. Paile Radha Nayana Bangabela, Anudina Barla, Abadinaga, Naso Ramana Nahama Ramani, Duimana Manubha Peshvajan. Naso Ramana means, oh, Krishna is not Raman. Krishna is not my beloved. Nahama Ramani, and I am not his heroine, his female lover. Why? Duimanu Manubhav Peshlajani. Cupid came, Cupid, the god of love, and took our two hearts and Peshala, mix them together. You know, when you take two spices and you put them together in the pot and then you rub them, and the two spices mix together and make one flavor. So Radharani is saying, oh, my heart and Krishna's heart, they were crushed and mixed together by Cupid himself. That means Radharani came from Rag to Anurag, Anurag to Rudabhav. In Rudabhav, then Radha Krishna, they don't think I am doing. I am singing, I am dancing. They rise to a next level like a Sakshitva, and love is doing everything. They see their two bodies are dancing and singing with each other, but they're seeing from like a higher level, and love is making everything go on. But now Radharani is saying, Ei Saki, Ei Saba, Prema Kahani. What can I say? These are only stories now. These are only stories. Why? Kanutami, Kohibo, Kohobi, Vichavar Jani. You should send, oh Saki, you should send this message to Krishna. Now I am in separation from him. So this whole poem, Radharani is speaking to a Saki. But which Saki is she speaking to? Not Lalita, not Vishaka. She's speaking to the Saki of her own Prem. Because when she rises to Rudabhav, now she sees, oh, Krishna and I have become one. And when she goes to Adi Rudabhav, then she sees that her love is like a messenger between the level of Radha Krishna and herself. And she's speaking to that Anurag Sakhi. She's speaking to that Anurag Sakhi and saying, in the beginning, we didn't need a messenger. Our own Panchaban, that is 5 arrows of Cupid. Our smiles, our glances, our voices, our beautiful face, these are all the arrows of Cupid. And Krishna's 5 arrows, they were the messengers shooting Radhika, and Radhika's 5 arrows were the messengers shooting Krishna. So she said, oh Sakhi Prem, in the beginning we didn't need a messenger to communicate with each other, to arrange our meeting. But now, Absoi Viragi Tuhum Beli Duti, now I am in separation. I need your help. Oh Sakhi Prem, help me. Oh my Sakhi Prem, help me. Give this message to Krishna. Suparuka Premaki Aichanariti. Krishna is very far away. Perhaps Krishna has gone to Dwarka or Mathura. And she's telling that Sakhi, go to Krishna and stand in front of him and say, is this the behavior of a really loving hero? Suparuka, Suparuk means Suparush. Of a good male person, Premaki, who's full of love. Aichana Riti? Is this the Riti? Is this the Riti? Is this the proper conduct for a hero who is full of love? That you love someone, you become one, your hearts become one with them, and then one day you just up and go and never come back? Is this the proper behavior? Oh, Prem Sakhi, go and deliver this message to Krishna. What does it mean? This is so deep. It means that if Radharani is on the bank of the Jamuna and Krishna is far away in Dwarka, and she takes Krishna's pitambara, his yellow cloth that he left behind, and she wraps it around her shoulders, and she cries, oh Krishna, ha nata, Ramananda Prashna, kwasi kwasi. Oh my beloved, where are you? At that time, the pain of separation is so intense that the whole universe becomes disturbed. Even the fish in the Jamuna begin to cry. And Krishna very far away, even if he's lying in the embrace of Rukmini, suddenly, by the power, that Prem goes all the way to Vrindavan, to Krishna, and catches him. And in Dwarka, he faints in the lap of Rukmini. And the next moment, Krishna sees, I'm in Vrindavan. How did I get here in Vrindavan? And then he meets with Radhika and dances and sings with Radhika. This is the meeting in separation because Prem has gone and brought him there by force. See? Understand? Now, I'm glad you understand that because that's only the introduction. The actual, what Ramananda Rai is describing is called Prem Vilas Vivarta. So here the word Vivarta means Anya Chitta. Anya Chitta. Your Chitta is responsible for all your perceptions. You don't see the world directly. Rather, your senses contact the world and then your Chitta transforms and it makes a model of the outer world. You understand? So what you're seeing now, you're looking at the floor, at the ceiling, at the walls. This is actually a model of the outer world, which is made in your own Chitta, and your soul is looking at that. This is how perception works. So, in Vedanta and other Shastras, it's explained this is how perception works. Because if you are disturbed by illness like a fever, then you may hallucinate. And then you'll see that things are moving. But things are not moving. It's because your Chitta is moving. It looks like the outer world is moving. Because you're seeing a model in your own Chitta. So Anya Chitta means another Chitta. Another experience of the Chitta. In other words, what's in front of you and what you're experiencing are two different things. In other words, you're not experiencing the model of what's in front of you, which is actually correlated properly. If the model in your mind does not correlate with what's in the world, then how will you navigate yourself around the terrain? How will you know how to get to the door, how to get to the street? So there must be a correspondence with the outer world and your chitta. But anya chitta means there's no correspondence. What is there in front of you and what your chitta is manifesting is two different things. So this song of Ramananda Rai, where Radharani said, "Oh my dear Sati Prem," is describing her Adi Ruddha Mahabhav. She went up to Ruddha and then up to Adi Ruddha. She's speaking to her Saki Prem and saying, "Bring Krishna to me because he's far away." But Krishna is not far away. Radhika is in the kunj with Krishna and enjoying loving pastimes. This is called Prema Vilas Vivarta. Prem Vilas, loving pastimes in the kunjas of Vrindavan, but due to Adiruddha Mahabhav, on one aspect of her consciousness, that is the general part, she's seeing, oh, Radha and Krishna, we are together, but we've become one. And then another aspect of her consciousness, she's experiencing that, oh, this is just a story. Krishna is very far away. Oh, Prem, please bring him back to me. And she's crying in separation, even being in the arms of Krishna. So that is Prema Vilas Vivarta. When Mahaprabhu heard this, he was in ecstasy. And Ramananda Rai said to him, "Pahile dakilu toma sanyasi surup, ebiyama toma deki shama goparup." Oh Mahaprabhu, I was looking at you at first and I saw a beautiful golden sannyasi. But now I'm looking at you and I see a dark complexion, sham color cowherd boy. And next to the cowherd boy, there's a Kanchana Putalika. I see a golden doll. And the effulgence of the golden doll is spreading out. And that sham roop, that dark cowherd boy, he's becoming covered by the golden complexion coming from that golden doll. Mahaprabhu said, this is your nature. You see like this. Why? Stavra Jangama Dekina Dekitara Murti. Sarvatra Hoy Nija Ishtadeva Sporti. Mahaprabhu said, who's a Mahabhagavat? They see their own Ishtadev Radha Krishna everywhere. So you are looking at me and you are seeing that. Ramananda Rai said, don't cheat me. Don't cheat me. And then suddenly he was looking at Mahaprabhu and then Mahaprabhu disappeared and he saw Sisi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Our Param Gurudev's Ishtadev, Radha Vinod Bihari, is that Krishna? Why? Because Radhika is golden and her effulgence is spreading out and Krishna, who was sham color, also became golden next to him. So that very form that Ramananda Rai saw is actually our Radha Vinod Bihari. And when Ramananda Rai, he saw Radha Vinod Bihari there, he fainted and he became unconscious. After some time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu put his very cool lotus hand on the forehead of Ramananda Rai. And by his cool touch, Ramananda Rai came back into external consciousness. So then, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Ramananda Rai, actually, my complexion is not golden. It has only become golden by the touch of Radhika. And you should know that Radhika never touches anyone except for the son of Nanda Maharaj. Then Mahaprabhu again, he put his hand on the mouth of Ramananda Rai and said, shh, don't tell anyone. By these words he indicated, I am Krishna. And he said to Ramananda Rai, I am Krishna and I have come in this world and I am playing like a sannyasi just because I want to discover how great is the love of Srimati Radhika. But don't tell anyone because if they find out, they'll make jokes and they'll laugh. So shh, don't tell to anyone. How humble Krishna is. Don't tell anyone, they'll make a joke. That look what Krishna is, Supreme Lord, and he's come and he's taken sannyas and he's left everything and he's sleeping on the floor with no pillow and no blankets. Everything but just to find out what feeling is in the heart of his sweetheart Radhika. It's a very private, a secret pastime, Gora Leela. So then Mahaprabhu said that now I have heard from you about the ultimate goal of life. You see, Gauranga Swarup is actually Krishna's Prem Vilas Vivartamai Murti. When Radha Krishna's Prem is in the highest level and they both go into the state of Prem Vilas Vivarta, then Radha Krishna become Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And that is the highest Prem. But Krishna has not experienced it from Radhika's point, Radhika's perspective. So Mahaprabhu said, now you've told me about Sadhya, the highest goal, Radha Prem, and Mahabhav, Adiruddha Mahabhav, Modan and Madanakya Mahabhav. So, Sadhya Vastu Sadan Bina Keho Nahi Pai, Kripa Karo Kaharai, Pabara Upai. Hey Ramananda Rai, now you've told me about the goal of life, but the goal of life cannot be attained unless one knows the right sadhana to attain it. So now be merciful to me and explain to me sadhana tattva, how I can attain this goal. So then Ramananda Rai, he described, Gopi Bina Anugatya Aishwarya Jnane, Bhajile Nahipai Brajandanandane. Without being in the Anugatya, under the guidance of the gopis, no one can attain the service of Krishna in Gopi Bhav in Braja. Because always Aishwarya Gyan will be there. One cannot get over this idea Krishna is God without being in Gopi Anugatya. So, Ramananda Rai himself is Vishaka Sakhi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he could have gone to Swarup Damodar and listened to Harikatha from him. However, Swarup Damodar is the incarnation of Lalita. And Lalita is older than Radharani by 27 days. She's more mature and she's pragalbha, she's very bold. But Vishaka Sakhi is born on the same day, at the same moment as Srimati Radhika, and she's not pragalbha and she's not the mukta. She's not naive and gullible. And at the other hand, she's not really experienced and mature and bold. She's in the middle, Madhya Naika. It has a mixture of both. That's Radhika's mood. And Vishaka Sakhi has the same mood just like Radhika. Vrishabhanudadi Navasashileke Lalita Sakhi Guna Ramita Vishaki. What does it mean? Here, Lalita Sakhi means Radhika. Radhika, who is Lalita Sakhi, the friend of Lalita, Lalita Sakhi Gun, the qualities of Radhika, Ramita Vishaki, are reflected in Radhika. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is Krishna, wanted to realize the mood of Radhika, he would have to go and listen to a Vaishnava who's in the same mood, like her. And this is why Mahaprabhu had to go to South India and find out Ramananda Rai. Because Srimad Bhagavatanam Ashvadora Sikai Saha Sajate Ashe Snigdei Sadhu Sangha Swatopare. Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam means discussing the many meanings of each and every word of Srimad Bhagavatam in the company of a Rasik Vaishnava. And that Vaishnava should be Pare, that means more advanced than oneself, Snigda, full of affection for us, and Sajatayashaya, that means the innermost region of the heart should already have the mood that you're aspiring for. So because the Ramananda Rai has the mood of a Madhya Naika and Madhu Sneha, so Mahaprabhu came and he listened from Ramananda Rai. And even at that time, the jewels which were not in Ramananda Rai and also not in Mahaprabhu, but when the rain cloud of Ramananda Rai spoke the Harikatha onto the ocean of Mahaprabhu, then Tatskatta and Ratnalayatam Prayati, the jewels of realization of old Radha Bhav, came in the heart of Mahaprabhu. So after this katha, it went on for some days. Ramananda Rai begged Mahaprabhu, please don't continue with your tour. Stay with me at least for another 10 days here for the Harikatha. Mahaprabhu said, no. No. Why only 10 days? When I go back to Puri, you should also come back to Puri and you should live there and we should have Harikatha together for a whole life. Yes. So Mahaprabhu, he continued on his tour, and when he came back to Puri, then Ramananda Rai, he gave up his government service. The king, Prataparudraj, was so pleased that he was going to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, I'll give you your full salary for the rest of your life. You can retire on the full salary. And he came to Puri, And he stayed where? Jagannath Bala Bhatika. In that place, Jagannath Bala Bhatika, no Western devotees are allowed to go in there for hundreds of years. But that's where Ramananda Rai used to stay. But this year when we were on Parikrama, there were no guards on the door. We just came with 200 devotees in a big sankirtan and just went straight inside. And so then everyone was very mellow, and it seems like they must have changed the rule. No, there was no problem. And there you can see the deity of Ramananda Rai and Mahaprabhu there, and the deity Ramananda Rai was serving. And that's the place where our Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that's where he was studying. He went there, and from one Gopinath Pandit, he studied the Satsandarbhas of Jiva Goswami and Baladevi Vibhushan's commentary, Govinda Vasya on Vedanta Sutra. Bhaktivinoda Thakur studied there for many years. And then afterwards, he also used to give class in that place. So that place is very dear to us. So that place is called Jagannath Bhatika Math. Jagannath Vallabh Bhatika Math. It is the math, the temple. Math means a study place. Mathanti Vasanti Chatra iti Math. The place where students come together to study deeply the Shastra is called a math. So math is like a college. So in that place, Ramananda Rai was staying, and that place was very dear to him. All the flowers and tulsi leaves and so on, which are used in the service of Lord Jagannath, are grown in the beautiful garden there. So it's called the Jagannath Bala Bhatika, the garden which is very dear to Lord Jagannath. So Ramananda Rai, he wrote a poem. And what's a drama? Do you know the name of Ramananda Rai's drama? It's called Jagannath Vallabh Natakam, the drama of Jagannath Vallabh that was written there in the garden of the Jagannath Vallabh. So Ramananda Rai, he was there and he wrote his drama, and he wanted that the Deva Dasis, the dancing girls in the Jagannath temple, would perform this drama for Lord Jagannath. But Lord Jagannath is Rasik. He is Rasik. So what happens? There are 5 ingredients in rasa, and if any one of the ingredients is deformed, then rasa will not manifest. So in the same way, if some actors are playing a pastime of Krishna on a stage, and they don't play the role properly, the actors are not the right character, or they don't move or speak in the right way, they don't move their eyebrows or do the right mudras with their hands, then it will be rasabas, and Lord Jagannath will not relish it. So because Ramananda Rai wanted to give pleasure to Lord Jagannath, by his drama, he was personally training the dancing girls, how to move their eyebrows, how to dance, what mudras to do with their hands, everything. So one day, Pradyumna Mishra came to Mahaprabhu and said, "Oh, Mahaprabhu, please, can you tell me some Harikatha?" Mahaprabhu said, "Well, what do you want to hear?" He said, "I want to hear what you discussed with Ramananda Rai on the bank of Godavari." Mahaprabhu said, "I don't know this katha so well. You should go and hear yourself from Ramananda Rai. Go and hear from him. He's there, the Jagannath Vallabh Bhatika." So then Pradyumna Mishra, he set off. And he came there, and when he arrived, the servants of Ramananda Rai said, "He's busy now, just sit down and wait." So he sat down, he was waiting for a long time. For a long, long time he was waiting. And then finally, he thought, he could not control his curiosity. He thought, what's he doing in there? And he just peeked through the door a little bit. And he looked inside, and he saw that Ramananda Rai was giving an oil massage to the dancing girls. Because before dancing, you have to warm up, otherwise they'll pull the muscle. And he was massaging the dancing girls. And then he sat down. Then finally, when Ramananda Rai came out, he said, "Oh, please forgive me that you waited for such a long time. How can I help you?" He said, "Oh, I just wanted to have your darshan. My pranams, and he left. He was so disappointed. He was so shocked. And Mahaprabhu later asked him, "Oh, did you hear Harikatha from Ramananda Rai?" And then we didn't know what to say. But Mahaprabhu knew his heart. Mahaprabhu knew his heart. So he said, "Oh, you should know that in the whole world, there is no one like Ramananda Rai. There's no one like Ramananda Rai. Only he is like this." Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, even if I see, or to speak of a woman, if I see a wooden model of a woman, Only seeing a wooden model of a woman, Mahaprabhu said, my mind gets disturbed. I cannot tolerate it. But Ramananda Rai, his body is completely Vishuddha Sattva. He is completely transcendental. So, no one should say, I will also massage the dancing girls like Ramananda Rai. Don't try to, because Mahaprabhu said, only one person in the whole world is like Ramananda Rai. Then Mahaprabhu said, so don't think any ill of him. You should go and ask to hear Harikatha again. So this pastime is there. It is also to give one teaching that we cannot recognize Vaishnavas by our sense perception. By our eyes, we cannot tell who is a Vaishnava. We can only tell through the ears. A Vaishnava can be seen through the ears. So Pradyumna Mishra, he went back and he asked Ramananda Rai, and then he heard very beautiful katha, and he became so satisfied. So the Jagannath Natakam of Ramananda Rai is so beautiful. What time is it now? Do you have to stop now? What time is it?
It's like 9:51.
Oh. You want to hear one verse? Yeah, do we have time for one verse from of Ramananda Rai? Okay, only one verse.
We are enjoying the night, so we can go on and on the whole night, but there's some people...
You can go on tomorrow. Come tomorrow. Oh, yeah, we'll tell one verse from Jagannath Natakam. When Radharani was young, she fell in love with Krishna, but she did not know how to communicate. How can I say? Because she was already married. So it was a big problem, but she could not contain herself. So she wrote a love letter and she gave it to one Saki named Madanika. And then Madanika went and approached Shri Krishna and delivered Radharani's love letter to Krishna. And when Krishna read it, he was so happy, but he wanted to do Prem Pariksha. That means love examination. To test the love. Does she really love me or not? Let me test. So Krishna said, oh, this is terrible. What kind of behavior is this? I'm a Pukka Brahmachari and I never associate with these restless girls who don't follow Dharma. And he rejected the letter. So then Madanika came back to Radharani and she delivered the bad news. Alas, he did not accept your message. And then Radharani's heart was broken and she began to cry. And Ramananda Rai has composed one verse. Premat scheja rujo vagachati ahiyanayam nacha premava stana mavaiti napi madano janati no durbala anyo vedana chanya dukam akilam no jivanam vishravam dvitrinena dinani yovanamidam aha vide kagati. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has put this verse in Bhajan Rahasya. So it's very important for our bhajan. Radharani says, Hari Krishna, he does not know what it's like to have one's love rejected. How painful it is for the heart, prematscheja, to have love cut. He must not know what it feels like, because if he knew, then he would never have rejected me in this way. So prematscheja rujova gachati harir nayam nacha premava, and prem. Krishna has this fault that he doesn't understand what pain he gave me. And prem, love itself, also has a fault. You know what is the fault of prem? What is the fault of love? Stana mavaiti napi. Means that prem does not know where he should go and where he should not go. Because sometimes two people, they get married, but love never visits their house. But then there are two people, they're not married, they might even be married to someone else, but prem comes between them. So this prem is very bad. Love is very bad, very badly behaved. Where to go and where not to go, he doesn't know. Prem stana mavaiti napi madano na janati no durbala. And also Cupid. Cupid is very bad. Do you know why? Cupid is bad because if there's a hero on the battlefield and all the soldiers are fighting, if someone is injured and he falls and is lying on the ground injured, then you have to stop fighting, you go and fight with someone else. Or if you're on the battlefield and you see people are there, like in Shakespeare, there's one character called Falstaff. He waits for the battle to go on for some few minutes, and then he comes on the battlefield, and then he starts hitting the people who are lying on the ground. Take that, to make it look like he's a hero. But he's a coward. So Radhika is saying, Cupid is like that. Already I was shot by so many arrows of Cupid. I'm lying on the ground, I cannot move, I am so weak. But still Cupid is coming and shooting me again and again. So what kind of hero is this who's attacking the injured person? So Krishna is bad, and Prem is bad, and Cupid is bad. And the friends of Radhika, they say, oh Saki, just be patient, just be patient. Then Radhika said, Anyo Vedana Chanda Dukamaklam. Oh, in this world, no person can really understand the pain of someone else. Let's say you're in pain, something happened in your life, and someone comes to console you. But what can they say? Because they don't know what you're feeling. So hearing the words of her Sakis, Radharani said, oh, Anyo Vedana Chanda Dukamaklam. Others, you cannot understand how I feel. How can you console me? So then one Saki said, oh, Radhika, just be patient. Krishna rejected you today, but maybe he's testing you, and after some time, he'll accept you because he's very kind. Radhika said, oh, no jivanam vishravam. You say in the future he will accept me, but I have no faith in this life. Death can come at any moment. I may die at any moment. And then I will have no chance to please Krishna. Then they said, oh Radhika, we have seen your lifeline. You have a long life. You will not die. So just be patient, Krishna will accept you. Then Radhika said, no, this is also not good enough. Why? Dvi trinyena dinani yovanamidam. The beauty of a young woman only lasts for 3 or 4 days. Right? Just like if you have beautiful flowers in a vase. You put them there, but you come back 4 days later, what happened? Then they're all wilted and they're not beautiful anymore. So Radhika is saying, now I am so sweet and soft and beautiful and my body is so full of rasa. But after a few days, the youth of a young woman is over, and then I will not be able to give the maximum happiness to Krishna. So, aha vidya kagati. What is this vidhi? What is this Lord Brahma or destiny? What kind of behavior is this? I loved Krishna for happiness, but now I got the exact opposite result. Alas, alas. So Krishna has done wrong, Prem has done wrong, Cupid has done wrong, time has done wrong, life is too short, youth is too short, and Vidata, Lord Brahma, the destiny, he's also, what is he? Radharani is blaming everyone, except for herself. Right? Why? Because the inner meaning of this verse is, it's not her fault that she fell in love with Krishna. This love was spontaneous. It was against her will. It was against her religion. She wants to be absorbed in her housework. But this prem is called swabhavik prem. Love has its own life. It's uncontrollable. Pailehi raga nayana banga bela. The first time I saw him and he saw me, it just appeared and became unlimited. Now I don't know what to do. So Ramananda Rai has described all these beautiful things in poetry, and Krishna himself, in the form of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he fulfilled his 3 desires in the Gambhira with Ramananda Rai and listening to his beautiful poetry there of the Jagannath Ballabh Natakam. So what can we say about Ramananda Rai? I want to say only one last thing. How glorious he is. In Chaitanya Charitamrita he said, Ramananda Poshe Jota Siddhanta Shunila Rupe Kripakari Prabhu Shakti Shancharila. Whatever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard from Ramananda Rai in that conversation on the bank of Godavari, that's what Mahaprabhu inspired in the heart of Rupa Goswami. So all of our Rasa Tattva, whatever it is, and all of our Siddhanta, whether it's Upadeshamrita, whether it's the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, or Ujjwala Nilamani, or Vidagna Madhav, and Lalit Madhav and Stavamala, all this nectar which is coming in our Rupanuga Vichadara, it was inspired in the heart of Rupa Goswami from Mahaprabhu. But how did Mahaprabhu get it? From Ramananda Rai. Sri Ramananda Rai ki jai! Tadiya Kirabhav Titi Ma Mahotsava ki jai! Gaur Premanande Hari